the Honorable Elijah Muhammad as being the one who taught me what I know and who made me whatever I am or whatever I've been. I recognize him and respect him for that. And probably I've made more speeches than any other Muslim, probably beside Mr. Muhammad himself. And no one can take any speech that I've ever made on any program I've ever been and find any moment even when I didn't give Mr. Muhammad full credit for everything that I know and everything that I am. And so when narrow minds come to the conclusion that I'm trying to be something other than what he wants me to be, then those minds are too narrow for me to work with.
You would want to elaborate on
I don't think that it accomplishes anything to dwell upon things that divide us. I think it accomplishes more to dwell upon things that unite, things that divide us. I think it accomplishes more to dwell upon things that unite us. And any unpleasant experiences that I've had or unjust experiences that I've had with anyone, as far as I'm concerned, it's in the past. And now I'm trying to look forward and trying to get as many Negroes as is possible to look forward and go forward in a forward-going movement.
Brothers and sisters, thank you for joining in. This is another edition of EBX Discussion. And as you can see, that was the brother Malcolm X and speaking truth as he did. You know, may he rest in peace and in power. And many other brothers and sisters, you know, of that time, before that time, around that era, decades ago, you know, I always say the ancestors of that righteous, you know, that righteous ancestors, you know, righteous ancestors that, man, that fought through tooth and nail, you know, generals, brother or sister, that got many of us in that great divine space that we are in. I always say that. And that's important to me. You know, I don't think I don't do it because it sound cool or it's a fad. No. Now, of course, we go through growths. You know, we go through levels as brothers and sisters. You know, the old saying we like to hear many of us teachers say, we feeling our way around in the dark until we find that light. But be thankful if we find that light, and that's in our families, ourselves. You know, the thing I always like to say, we start that learning process and that divine journey. It starts with ourselves, our children, family, and work our way out the best way we can. Don't think about resources, what we have, what we don't have. Just do what that great divine has put in our heart to do. If we feel it, not everyone feels it. You have to be in the space of feeling it. It can be a person of pettiness. You can be evil, of course. I mean, we have to be able to see. That's when we have to put in action, you know, to get solutions and good responses that come from us having righteous actions. Of course, it's not easy all the time, but it makes for a better life. And when we stay in that learning mode, we learn from our mistakes and we stay accountable. As you heard Malcolm X speaking, you know, he was real as they come, you know, and many other great brothers like him and sisters that were generals. You know, I never forget them, you know, in my family and others' families, you know, brothers and sisters in the world and online. Anyone that stands up for the righteous things of humanity, you know, family and a righteous ripple effect. It's a wonderful thing. But, you know, sometimes, you know, as many of us have, we've been through struggles to get to a position that we are in, especially if we are successful of the mind. Because something I used to say, I haven't said it in a while. Success is a state of mind. And when you got your mind right, everything else will ride along with us or follow. You know, I'm trying to change that following word into ride along. We stand with one another. And I started saying ride along because we have many things that we can add to culture and or humanity if we just reach inside and stop playing and connect with that divine ability and or skill that great divine gives all of us. You know, it's just that, you know, as we say, you know, melanated brothers and sisters, we have a different magnetism, you know, and we can show others the way, but they have to, everybody has that choice if they're healthy, mind, body, and soul. It's just a willingness, a compassion, and, you know, and a no holds barred attitude righteously, that nothing toxic stop us. Because when we let toxic things stop us, man, that's before us. We won't see what's beyond, because it's a wonderful thing when we're able to see beyond. Like my son and I spoke on beyond the workplace. You know, Lord Lamont, we had a wonderful discussion yesterday evening, and I can tell, and I go back and I don't listen to all the podcasts we do or I do, But sometimes I kind of do it to just proofread, and sometimes just to listen to funny moments that he and I might have, because I look at it as memories. And anyone else I may come along and, whether it's family member or, maybe a good friend or someone else I might collab with or end up speaking. You never know what that great divine has for us down the road. It's just wonderful. We just have to stay in that space and, I always say try our best to learn human nature so we can understand each person we come into, whether they're toxic or not. It's time to learn from situations and not losing ourselves in emotions. And of course, we'll learn, of course, when we become intelligent in the mind, the body and the soul, and know what it takes to keep ourselves healthy. When we get to that space, we'll know what to do with toxic things we run into, person, place, or thing. We'll know who to involve ourselves with, and we'll know who to stay away from. We get wise enough, so we don't have to worry about things like that. And if we have to defend ourselves physically, hopefully that's the last resort. But if we have to, we have to. But we stay away from that. Like the speech Malcolm X was giving in the beginning, in the intro here. And if I didn't say it already, thank the current subscribers and new subscribers, anybody that view. I salute you, and may that great divine come in our lives, my life, and in the listeners' lives, families, anyone out there. May that great divine come in our lives and show us the way, and help us to have that energy and discernment to sidestep things that'll derail us, because I like to say, I always like to use the example, we can do one small itty bitty thing in our life and we'll F up one little thing, one wrong choice. It could be the smallest thing in the world, but it'd be a wrong choice that'll impact the rest of our lives. And we know this to be true because we got examples all around us, celebs, politicians, just take a look at those who, what they call fall from grace. I heard a sister content creator speaking on that earlier today, talking about we are surrounded by those that we put on the pedestal are now falling from grace. So that's what happens when you have a toxic foundation. It's just a matter of time for what I always like to say before that building crumble. And it's worth the hardships. It's worth the struggles. It's worth, kind of backing down from things. Remember, it's not letting person, place, or thing run over us. Remember, we're learning now. We're in that time. It's no longer mistakes or hurdles. Now they're stepping stones. Now every situation is a learning lesson. If we can just get in that space, man, and keep that family spirit. I'm telling you, even when we're single, keep a family spirit. That's why it's important that many of us teachers do. A lot of us out here do study human nature, at the course, because when we can figure out a behavior, we can begin to, figure out behaviors or learn behaviors, whether in adults or children, male or female, brother or sister. We can begin to come up with solutions and make changes, but it's always going to come down to that individual to receive and learn and want to change. Because as my son and I talked about, how, sometimes we don't get it until a later age, but we in the time now, we can prevent that. We can show our new generation a different way, a better way, not saying that. Well, some old teachings, of course, because we have to change with the times. Things elevate, nothing stays the same. But keep some original teachings of our ancestors, some of them. But just more discernment. Now we're in the prevention age. We got to prevent things from happening. That woulda, coulda, shoulda syndrome. We got to be done away with that. I say that on every other podcast. That woulda, coulda, shoulda shit. We got to get out of that, And I listen to teachings of Malcolm X all the time, and other great leaders of our time, brother or sister, not just him, And but I've done reports on Malcolm X and Bob Marley. I've spoken these things in the past. I actually got pages written that I have listened to, lectures I have listened to from Malcolm X, pages from years back I've been studying, and it's wonderful. And that's why it's good to read, write, brother or sister, as I said, family. It's just good to read, research, and keep ourselves in that learning mode. Things we've learned from way back, it's like they come up later, and it keeps us sharp. And as we get up in age, our memory tend to kind of deteriorate. But the important things, I don't know, when we're in right, for some reason we never forget what's important. Once we got that integrity embedded deep with that divine spirit, know a little bit about Mother Nature, because we can learn appreciation of life from learning about Mother Nature. It's just more than just being in it and sounding cool. I'm telling you, when you really learn those things, it just leads to more and more levels, astrology, and get away from these small spaces, as I like to say, that each evil entities around us try to keep us in. We ain't staying in no damn box, It's a whole lot of life and a whole lot of wonderful things out here in this world. A lot of things to explore in our mind, body, and soul, and what we see, hear, and feel. I talk about them things, and like I say, what is the basis? What is the center of our, as I heard from a great brother, our universe and universe is that psyche. Pay attention to our psyche, what we let go in and what go out, and keep a family spirit, and commit to a righteous ripple effect. Because with everything in my power, with that great divine, I will leave some kind of impact in this generation. I'll start in my family best way I can. I'm not perfect. I like to keep to myself, and but I reach out when I can. I don't close everything off. So, but I try to keep oneself rested and recharged, and never put myself in a space where I have to, as I said in the past, where not that I do. I'm pretty much, I stay away from the bull. But sometimes trouble can try to enter our lives, so we have to be ready for that. Because as much as a lot of us like solitude, and that's how a lot of our teachers are developed, we do have to interact with human, with human nature. So that's why we study it, and we don't get entangled in others. Like my son, Lord Lamont, said, others' baggage they may be carrying. We get a little more mindful when we get wise and up in levels. As I was getting ready to say a few minutes ago, that wonderful discussion my son and I had on that father and son discussion beyond the workplace. And I'm telling you, I really didn't get it. Things didn't start clicking until I hit 50. That's just being real. It's just, things just started changing. Again, I started being more accountable on things, and started being more appreciative, and started being I started being, and a lot of us do this, not just me. I'm just using myself as an example, because even younger brothers and sisters can do the same thing. I always got to reiterate that. You don't have to wait till we get up in age. It's just, I did okay, from, 30 on up to 50, but I'm telling you, things just clicked when I turned 50. Now, that's just my journey, my example, I'm giving. So not everybody, some people click way before that, like my son, Lord Lamont, in his 30s, what I'm saying? And very intelligent. And I'm so thankful that great divine brought us together full circle through everything we have been through. As I said, there was a big gap in there where I didn't see him. And I have other chapters with my other children too. I don't leave them out. Remember, I got two other daughters and two other sons. Well, I speak on Ethan, but I got another son, Elijah, and two other daughters. So that's another chapter too. I just, when I speak about my kids, I don't want to leave them out, even if I haven't spoke or seen them in a while. I just got to keep them in there, keep those updated. I've made mistakes in one's life too, but that's why it's our job and it's our duty as brothers and sisters, generals, elders, our teachers out here, whether in the world, online, in these schools, wherever we at, we have a teaching spirit. It's our job and it's our duty to that great divine to leave a righteous ripple effect and impact on our youth, on our generation. We one student at a time, we building this righteous future. That's why I got this on my banner too. It just did something to me when I looked at it. And we know the friendship and the brotherhood Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X had, and that's their children. And if I'm not mistaken, Malcolm X's daughter is still alive today. I have to do a little research, but I think she is, because I've seen some kind of older photos of her and some younger ones, and she has a real very unique name. It's hard to say, but I don't like saying it because I don't like messing it up. But it's Atalia, if I said it right, Attallayh, if I spelled it right, Atalia. And I actually got it. Let me see. It's Malcolm X's daughter. It's either Attallah or Atalia. It's a very unique name, Shabazz. And this is a younger photo of her, and I spell it out as Attallah. My son and I spoke on this too, Shabazz. And she's very beautiful. It's a younger picture of her. And I do, like I said, if I'm not mistaken, I do think she's alive, and hope that, may that great divine stay in her life and protect her, and thank Malcolm X as part of his legacy. It's wonderful. Family, brothers and sisters, we got to keep our family, we got to protect our family legacy. Something else Lord Lamont and I spoke on, and it's wonderful. And we will do, him and we will do what we can to protect our family, because we spoke on my Aunt Vera, may she rest in peace and in power, and my grandparents, which is his great grandparents and his great auntie, and all my family that contribute to one's life and why I'm here, and family has been there when I needed them. You get up and do a little reflection on life. You see these things, and it's wonderful. And you look at the things that you didn't do. Of course, I've done a lot of stupid stuff when I was younger, trust me. But just thank that great divine that many of us, we finally got it, whatever age bracket we're in. And we finally got it, and we have made some kind of impact to others, whether it's a friend, a family member, a co-worker, just somebody that listened to us and we made an impact, one student at a time. It's wonderful, because like we always say, all day, every day, man, when we put out righteously, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It always come back. Same way with the flip side. We all know you put out toxic stuff, it'll come back too, but that's worse, And so that's why you can't think being righteous is corny and nothing like that. No, it's just a man and woman without any judgment, brother or sister, that's upright and just doing the right thing. We all have different journeys, but it comes down to what's in our heart, like what was in Malcolm X's heart, what was in Ali's heart, and what they will pass on to their children. Even though they went through their struggles, it was worth it, because look what they passed on. And I was listening to a clip of Malcolm X's daughter actually today, and she's protecting her father's legacy and her mom. Can't leave her mom out. Couldn't make the kid without the mom. So salute to the righteous sisters in those times that stood behind, like Ali and the Alis and the Malcolm X and other brothers. Even Martin Luther King, I put him in there too, and any other black leader in those times. They had a sister behind them, because when you got a righteous, upright sister that's a general, man, do you know how that make a black man feel when a sister got a brother's back, man, and ain't no bull or petty, and supports everything they do? Now, we talking about righteous things, because of course it can't be a toxic marriage or a toxic relationship. That'd be like, as we all like to say, dropping water in a bucket with a hole in it. So you just be doing it for nothing. Been there, done that, So we got to be done away. We cherish the good things of the past. We don't drag that bad stuff. We speak on it because that's like our memory bank to know what not to do in the future, So, and I like the way she was speaking. She was Malcolm X's daughter. I listened to. She was speaking very powerful, and that energy of her, that spirit, she protecting her mom and her dad, her family, her father's legacy, her mom's legacy. Can't forget about the sisters, the righteous sisters who are generals that support our brothers. I'm telling you, it's the greatest feeling in the world when a sister got your back, and she supports you when you down, she supports you when you up, and that builds a man, that it keeps a man strong, man, because when a man is confident deep within, especially a young man, a young brother, man, a young confident man makes for a older confident man, because I always like to say my statistic, I like to say, and this is for sisters or young brothers or any young male or young female, my own statistic, I said from 18 to 50, but I'm gonna move it back to about 15, because even though we gotta enjoy our youth, we don't want to lose our youth. We enjoy our youth as we're young, but I want to teach our youth to be a little intelligent. Always keep that future in the back of our mind, in the mix of going to school and learning our emotions. Because when you're that young, some kids are fortunate; they become intelligent, at 15 and maybe a little younger, but some don't, and that's the ones I'm speaking on. Because I was kind of like that. It took a while to finally get it. Like I said, the light bulb really didn't come on until I hit 50. I'm 55 now. And it just things just start clicking and just start picking up. Like my son said, I start putting the puzzle pieces together. That was Lord Lamont. He said that. And he's been through a lot. Like I said, he and we've had our bumps and hurdles. Again, like I said a few minutes ago, and I spoke on before, long time we didn't see each other, so, but when we are wrapped in accountability, we're ready for things that we have to deal with, or not deal with, but come across in the future. Because I don't like that word deal with, because it's a responsibility. It's not a deal with. So we're gonna take that out of there, dismiss that. Accountability, we have to accept our accountability, and it just feels better when we do. And it's not always easy, but we feel better in the end, and just know that sometimes in our lives we in different mindsets, different mind frames, situations, things happen. But if we got a good heart, brothers and sisters, family, man, we can never go wrong. Connect to that divine spirit and study and learn human nature and be mindful of oneself and everyone else, especially those we care about that just had things happen to them. But again, it's all about choice. Everyone has a choice: mind, body, and soul. So it just lit up my heart when I seen this banner, when I seen this picture of Malcolm X. And you go see Malcolm X all over my channel pretty much. And because I studied him, like I said, I've written pages on lectures of his lectures he's done, and many other, as I said, many other great teachers I've listened to, brother or sister. I comprehend what I hear. Like I said, no matter the content creator, brother or sister, male or female, if one has good information, even my son Lord Lamont, he included, family member, and that's not just online, in life in general. If you have good information and something that can help me help you, because that's like we say, iron sharpens iron. That's more than just a saying. That's something I had to learn. I'll listen, because there were those I listened to that helped me, and that's family members. That could be friends I met along the way, brothers and sisters in the world, online. It's so important that we have a family spirit. It's wonderful. Again, even for my single people, that's for some of the younger females or younger sisters that having problems. You don't have that family spirit. It's all about, we so busy now. It's just my one's opinion. This could be brother or sister, male or female, but kind of speaking on my young sisters and my young females. Now, I'm not a relationship expert. I'm just, I'm going off life experiences and what I see and just one's opinion. That's it. I think we need to practice on having a family spirit within ourselves and stop looking at putting expectations on a man or a brother, and just be ourselves and just be with that brother and talk with him and see what kind of brother he is. And if he's not right, let it, get away from him, whatever. But don't come with all these expectations and put all this pressure on a brother, and really get to the core of a brother, get to a heart of a brother, and see what he's like and who he is. And he will open up and connect, even if you don't end up being in a relationship or the date don't work out. Still learn from it and still have somewhat of a connection, and say, even though it didn't work out, be mindful of each other. Don't leave, like if a date don't work out, or you get with somebody and, relationship. I'm talking about outside of marriage. I'm not talking about marriage, just a regular dating or a relationship, and it don't work out and you don't see eye to eye, or, you're not each other's type. Just, learn from it and still be friends, connect, but, just don't be bitter about it. Don't go on social media and dog each other, none of that. And just look at it as a learning thing, a learning tool, and go on to the next person. But of course, we don't do this randomly. We don't, have all, just kind of casually, and let it go and just look at it as something to learn from. That's how I look at dating now, and stop putting all our expectations we have inside of us. We put pressure on the other person. It could be vice versa. It could be the brother or the male putting too much pressure on the female. And that's what happens. It's like either party, we put too much pressure on each other. And it could be either or, put too much pressure on one another. Things don't work out. Instead of just going to that divine spirit, what do we really feel in the pit of our soul? Underneath all the expectations and things we think we want, and a good man or a good woman, get to the core of what we really want and not what we think we want. First, we better focused on the needs, because I always like to say, great divine gives us what we need, and the wants will come. The righteous once. So, that's just one's opinion. Like I say on this channel, I suggest, teach, and give advice, but everybody leads their own journey, so, and that's what I would do if I was to date or meet a new sister, or, I would really try to get to know her, and, get to know who she is, and not place all these expectations on her. And we damn sure can't go into dating with lusting. That would get you nowhere, so, because anybody can have sex. And especially when you get up in levels, and I will say somewhat age, this could be male or female, brother or sister, you get to a point, and we heard this quote in the movie, actually Martin Lawrence made, what was it, Thin Line? Or they say the older you get, the better choices your genitals make. I didn't want to be vulgar. Again, the older we get, the better choices our sex organs make. Put it like that. And that's real talk. That's reality. So, and if you don't think, man, I'm telling you, just, again, we got examples all around us. Celebrities going wild. Some politicians they just put their inhibitions and their integrity and just caution and just threw it to the wind and didn't even think about the future. Now look at some of them, I'm telling you. And I refuse to be like that, and we have to be happy with who we are. Be thankful for the good parts of our family. Again, we set that righteous ripple effect the best way we can. Start right where we are. That's my thing. And for my leaders and teachers with a student spirit, I want to read a summary about the importance of having a family spirit. Even I put family, but a family spirit, righteous ripple effect. All right, let's go. We're going to have a meditative moment. A strong family spirit is important because it fosters a sense of belonging, unity, which Malcolm X was speaking on in the intro. Unity, and he said he wanted to focus on unity, not dividing and what happened in the past and that bullshit. That's something my son and I spoke on in Beyond. No, I think was it Beyond. I think it was Beyond the Workplace. No, it was the one before that. When I had my granddad, Charlie Farmer, may he rest in peace and in power. It was a black and white photo I had on a banner, and my son and I were speaking on how America always bringing up the past and old bad things that happened and want to redo it and make a movie out of it. We were speaking on that. We got to let that shit go. It's time for the new. Start reinventing things, recycling shit, and especially stuff that we don't need. The old serial killers and all that bull from the past want to make movies out of it. It's fucking stupid. The world is scary enough. We don't need all these damn scary movies. So I don't do scary movies, because if you have learned about energy, I wouldn't watch a lot of these horror flicks, but I'm gonna just leave it. That's to each his own, because energy is real, and that shit passed through these damn movies. So, and I think I don't watch a lot of movies, but I said this before: the music people listen to and the movies they watch or the shows they watch, it says something about them. Like if you have a person that's happy-go-lucky and and pretty optimistic, this could be male, female, brother or sister, that's pretty much the music they'll listen to and the movies they watch. But if you got somebody downtrodden and always negative all the time, well, guess what kind of music they're gonna listen to? Guess what kind of shows they're gonna watch? Guess what kind of movies they're gonna watch? It's gonna be drama-filled, horror flicks, depressing, low vibrational music and movies. No, I wouldn't recommend watching movies and watching TV a lot, because that's not good. But I'm just using that as an example. How energy is real. Okay, that's what my son and I spoke on. And the title of that was Great Divine is the author of Patience and Time. That's a father and son discussion, my son and I. Lord Lamont, we did. And there was a segment in there where we spoke on that, how America loves to bring up the past. Toxic, it's mostly toxic shit, real talk. So that's just one's opinion. So getting back to the summary, that's what Malcolm X was talking about in the intro. He don't want to. It was a reporter that was asking him a question. You probably couldn't hear it, and it was something about division. See, it's always some negative energy trying to stray you away when you're righteous. So that's what Malcolm X was speaking on in that intro. All right, I'm gonna get back to the summary. All right, I'm gonna start over. A strong family spirit is important because it fosters a sense of belonging, and this even when you're single. Unity, support, and shared values within a family unit, providing a foundation for emotional well-being. resilience in challenging times, and a strong sense of connection between members, ultimately contributing to positive personal growth and development across generations for generations to come. One student or one male or one female at a time, brother or sister at a time, and this could be younger or older. Real talk, because you got some adults out here going through it. We got celebs going through it. Don't let don't let the glitz and glamour fool you. If you ain't been doing right, you ain't got righteous in that foundation, it's all coming down. Because great divine, Mama Nature, and the universe is not playing right now. Now I want to read 5 points of cultivating a family spirit. And again, folks, this for me too. These are things I learned. So look at it sometimes as we're learning together. All right, here we go. How to cultivate a family spirit. First point, quality time together. And there's things I have to work on too now. Okay, regularly schedule activities that involve the whole family. And we talking about righteous things, not nothing that'll bring the family down. I was speaking on earlier, that inner core, how we are how we really are at the core. It will ultimately come up physically through us through the surface. Second point, express appreciation. Like I always give appreciation to, I always speak on my family, my children, maybe content creators I've listened to, brothers and sisters I met along the way. Appreciation, it builds a good vibration within, and that's having a family spirit. All right. Activity, acknowledge and praise each other's efforts and achievements, which I do all the time. Like my son, Lord Lamont, I always say I'm proud of him. I speak good things about him, All right. Third point, practice active listening, which is wonderful. That's why I say anybody that anyone that got good information, I'll listen, All right. Pay attention to what others are saying and validate their feelings. That goes back to the dating thing I was talking about. We have to really pay attention to one another. And that goes for male or female, brother or sister, and really get to know a person. Again, stop placing all this pressure and expectations upon one another. All right. Fourth point, celebrate milestones, mark important events and traditions as family. Man, that's wonderful when we think of things as a family. It's wonderful. Unity, what Malcolm X is speaking on. And, I know that word unity gets thrown around, but be thankful for the ones that do understand unity and putting it into action, putting it into practice. So, because there are brothers and sisters in our families, in the world, and online that is putting family values into practice. All right. Fifth point, engage in shared hobbies and interests like my son and I do. Lord Lamont, we do music together. We do these podcasts together. And even when we're not recording or doing music, we eating dinner together or we speaking. We have conversations even when we're not recording. So, and he messaged me and stuff. And I connect with family too. I connect with my mom when I can. I do speak to my uncle. Again, that's an area I have to work on because I'm a lover of solitude. So, like I said, a lot of times we're learning together. All right. Engage in shared hobbies and interests. Find activities that everyone enjoys and doing together. That's wonderful. That's friends, family. If you're in a romantic relationship, if you're married, it's wonderful to do things as a family. Because I remember things from my family that we used to do when my grandparents were alive. We used to always take trips to Great America. And every summer we would take a trip. I remember that. See, that's why it's good to do things with our youth and our children and stuff. They remember when they get later on in life, what I meant to say, excuse me. They remember things like that, like I do. I'm sure my other cousins and siblings, my brother and my sister, I got 2 brothers and a sister. My sister Shahina, excuse my voice, dang. My sister Shahina, and I got a brother named Marlon, and I got a brother named Cadius. And Cadius was on my dad's side. May he rest in peace and in power, which name was Louis T. Reed. And I'm sure they remembered the great things, like my dad. I'm sure Cadius remember a lot of great things my dad did, amongst his mistakes and human errors we make. But the one thing I pull away for my family is we always took trips. I remember us doing things as a family, and got a lot of old pictures. I think it's at my grandma's house. My Uncle Larry stay there now. He stays in the house where my grandmother stayed. May she rest in peace and in power, as well as my granddad, rest in peace and in power. And we did. I mean, we used to rent a van, and we would all get in the van, and I mean, we all went to Brownsville, Tennessee, and we seen like the old house. I got the picture on right here on my channel, actually, on a thumbnail on a banner. My granddad and my grandma took a picture in front of I think it was an old farmhouse where they used to live years ago. And just, I remember those memories, you know. Like I said, we went to Great America every summer, you know, and it was consistent. We always did something as a family, you know. Thanksgiving, everybody came over, you know. We had a lot of, you know, whenever is or Christmas, you know, whenever is some kind of, and we had a lot of family reunions, a lot of them. You know, as we got older and people started moving away and getting jobs, and, you know, unfortunately some parts of the family transition, stuff like that, things change. And of course the family reunions kind of dwindled a little bit, didn't have them as much. And we haven't had a family event in a while. And if we have had one, all the family members weren't there. But I'm just thankful for the times that we did spend together. And my grandparents and my Aunt Vera, may she rest in peace and in power. My son and I spoke on his great aunt, and we spoke on how the apartment building one stays in is the building she owned, you know, before she transitioned, and things like that. You know, family values. When you just sit back and appreciate and just think of all the wonderful things and all the sacrifices our grandparents, our parents, you know, and our ancestors. You know, like I said, the Malcolm X and the Muhammad Ali's and the great sisters that was behind them. You know, I think about stuff like that all the time, man. And all those things they did to get many of us in the space we in. Stand tall, my generals, and be proud, you know. So that was some things that was in my spirit. And, you know, and salute Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali. May they rest in peace and in power. And may that great divine stay in their lives and keep their legacy strong, as Malcolm X's daughter was doing in that clip I saw when she was speaking. You know, she was speaking great power over her mother and her father and their legacy. And that's something my son and I was talking about. We're going to protect our family's legacy no matter what. I don't care the differences some of us had, whatever. You know, some of us, great divine brings us up and turns that light on in us so we can change old ways in our families. You know what I'm saying? And be that light in our families. Be the unifier in our families, if possible, if that's even a word. The unifier, if that's a word. I don't know if that's a word, but it's wonderful, you know. And we do it because that great divine calls us to do it, you know. Because when we on that divine time, we be right on time. We never late, you know, and stay in that righteous realm. And again, that's why I volunteer. That's why I communicate with Lord Lamont. You know, again, I say all the time, brothers and sisters, we as humans, we don't know what's coming down the road. But what I always say, that great divine always knows. They know if. Great divine always knows. Mother Nature always knows. That universe always knows. And if you think it don't, go ahead and live an evil, toxic life. I always say, let me know how that work out. You know, so I would rather be righteous. I would rather do without things. Because being a righteous general, brother or sister, male or female, younger or older, you know, I would rather have, you know, again, my son and I talked about how rich, wealthy people look down on the middle class. I like being the middle class. It's a sense of being free. You know, a lot of things you don't have to deal with, contracts and being blackmailed and all this old crap, and you got to watch over your shoulder. Who wants to live like that? So that's why we have to be happy and thankful for what we have and where we are, and keep a family spirit. And what do we do, folks, as teachers, as adults, those who have become wise and have learned things from life experiences? We commit that righteous ripple effect. Salute.